It really brings me joy to see us all gathered here. And this evening we can share and see all the blessings of such an inspiring and hope-filled partnership all the way in Kumi, Uganda. For those of you who are here for the first time, I hope that you'll get at least a glimpse of all about the incredible work at Kumi Christian Visionary School. For those of you who are committed supporters, I want to extend a deep thank you and hope that you'll find yourself inspired all over again.
Yes.
The work and the impact that we can create is amazing. And through your generosity and support, we can make it a reality.
So for some of you, the story I'm going to tell you've heard every year. And then for others of you, this might be the first time. But no matter what, I believe every time you hear it, you get to know it, and then you own it. So, hey, you pastors out there, I invite you that you can use this as a sermon title. Hear it, know it, own it. Can we hear everybody say that? Hear it, know it, own it. That's it. Okay, so in a moment, okay, so over 13 years ago, Ari Lee, a member of our church, Chinese Community United Methodist Church, met Silver Omakeni while teaching music in Uganda. I know it's a little hard to see, but the one on this side is Silver, and the one on the other side is Ari. Yes. Okay. So Ari was a young man in his mid-20s. Silver. Oh, did I say Ari? Oh, okay. I'm confused. All right, I'll be confused. Okay. I'm looking smart though, yes. So Silver, he's a really talented musician and very passionate about God. One weekend, Gary traveled to his home village, and it took her 4 to 5 hours to get there. And when she got there, she found out that he was caring for a house full of orphan children. And these children were orphaned because of AIDS. And it was during this visit that Silver shared with Ari his dream. And his dream was to not only send every one of those vulnerable children to school, but to build a school that had a heart for and a commitment towards the most vulnerable and needy in Kumi. Okay, so Ari heard this, and she was convinced that she was exactly the wrong person to tell this dream to. What could she possibly do? She was a musician, after all, a church musician at a small church in Oakland, Chinatown at that. But a wedding, oh, that's Ari and Ben. But a wedding, a funeral, and a birthday celebration, wow, that almost sounds like a movie, huh? There's a movie title or something like that? Well, anyway, so by these 3 occasions, seed money was slowly gathered to actually enable Silver's dream to become a reality. Now, 13 years later, there is not only a beautiful school located in Kumi, Uganda, but one that is filled with children who would otherwise never have an opportunity to attend a school. All the different things. Oh, now we can see. Thank you. Yes, this is Silver's dream come to reality. And we're going to see Silver in a moment. There he is. That's Silver, his daughter, Ari Lynn. Get the name? Ari Lynn. And his wife, Rachel. Okay, folks, this is what we're celebrating tonight. This is what we invite you to be inspired by tonight. This is what you are making possible tonight. Look at those children. All right. Now we'd like to share a short video with you, just highlighting how each year Silver's dream takes shape more and more. Yeah. Wow. I just want to show of hands from my people that were there in 2009. Yes, we were there. We're the foundation of the school, and we actually helped do some things. Yeah, we did a little bit of construction, and we all laid cornerstones. Wow, it was so exciting. And I can't tell you the next time we went in 2014, I had tears in my eyes because the school was built and there were children in it. That's just so amazing. Okay, we're going to show you a few pictures now of some of the accomplishments of 2017 and 2014. Well, these people are not African. These are members of the DIN team. But actually, you know, what I wanted to let you know is that Ben and Ari have been in Kampala since the fall of 2017, and we're able to connect with the YCB on board in person. These are photos of the boys' dormitory getting built. Woo, how exciting! And the boys' dormitory was, they're silver. The boys' dormitory was built by the funds raised by this year's KBR, Kumi Benefit Ride Hike. So all of you involved in the ride hike, give yourselves a hand because look at this. Look at this beautiful building. And also what was completed was the latrine. Okay, so then some of the little kids there, but this side is the boys, that side's the staff, and next to it is the girls. Okay. Next. Oh, here we are. This is our team. This is our team from 2018. And it looks like we're drinking beer. We're drinking soda. Because, you know, when you're on a mission trip, you don't drink. So we had this is before we got to the school. We were in Kampala and we had a delicious Italian meal. Italian meal. Wow. All right. Yes. So you're going to be hearing from some of the folks sitting around that table. So please do not leave. Okay. Please do not leave.
And now I'd like to invite Deacon Ken, if he could come up to deliver our meal grace, because I'm sure everyone here is as hungry as I am.
Good evening, everyone. Please join me in prayer. God of grace, we thank you for gathering us together as a community tonight. We welcome family, friends, colleagues, and neighbors for a special purpose to help support the Kumi Christian Visionary School, a school that was born out of a vision planted by the Spirit in the hearts of your faithful servants. We recognize that there's much need in the world. By coming together, we can do great things, more than each of us could do on our own. Through our relationships, through our conversations, and our prayer, we strive to discern your will for us. Our collective efforts are built from the gifts of time and resources of those who are gathered here, and through those efforts we strive to be faithful people in mission and ministry to your hurting world. We pray for those who are closest to the center of this project, for Silver, for Ari, and for Ben, who have been residing in Uganda this past year. We pray for the teachers and administrators at the Kumi School, and we ask that you bless all of them so that the school may prosper in fulfilling its mission. We also pray for the students that they may prosper and learn the wisdom and the knowledge of their teachers. Bless this meal, that our time together may be a time of joyful fellowship and relationship building. May we raise significant resources to allow the Kumi School to flourish so that children may get an education, so that they may be enriched by the knowledge they receive and have greater opportunities in life. And finally, may the bonds that are strengthened here endure, so that this community may continue doing your good work. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Okay, I'm supposed to tell you a bit about VIM. VIM stands for, who knows what it stands for? Thank you, my UN friends, Volunteers in Mission. And this was our third VIM trip of going to Uganda. So, you know, when we start out, we kind of are feeling our way around and saying, well, what are the needs at the school? And there's just so many to address. But it starts to take shape when people sign up. So this year we had Cloud, wonderful Cloud, who you met, our high schooler, brave guy, who said, well, I'm in the marching band. I want to teach you how to drum. We said, great. We brought over 24 pairs of drumsticks, and that was Cloud's gift to school. And then we had wonderful, who you're going to get to hear from, Cheryl Wilson, math specialist, and amongst her other talents. And we had Sunny from this table, who has tutored high schoolers in math. So we thought, oh, maybe we should have a little math focus. So that's sort of how the VIM trip comes together. We find people who feel a call to serve, to give in a very experiential way. And we never quite know what to expect, but as the team comes together, we bounce ideas off each other, and the mission trip takes form. By the time we were ready to leave, we actually weren't ready to leave. Each of us was saying to ourselves, when are we going to come back again? Donna and I have been there 3 times, and we kind of say, you know, maybe that's it. Time to let somebody else go. But you have such a great experience working with kids, with staff, meeting Silver and being served dinner by he and his wife in their home, and having Silver pray for you. Let me tell you, that is a marvelous, marvelous experience. So, there's somebody at every table here who's had a little thought. And whether this is your first time, your second time, your, I don't know, 9th time here, I'll bet you've had a thought like, I wonder if I should go on the VIM trip to Uganda. Talk about it to each other, because here's the 3 things I'm going to tell you need. 1, curiosity. Okay, the fact that you're wondering, should I go? I wonder what it's really like there. Curiosity, wonder. Number 2, you want to make connections. As it was said by Deacon Ken, you want to build relationship. You want to get to know names, faces, kids, teachers. You will form friends. And number 3 is change. Be the change. You want to be the change. I know you all do, otherwise you wouldn't be here tonight. And not only do you want to be the change, but if you go on a trip, you will be changed. We all came back changed. So if you have curiosity, you want to make connection, and you want to see change, think about coming on a VIM trip. And because we were so excited, we said 4 years is really too long to wait for the next VIM. We're thinking about 2020, the next VIM trip. So keep that in the back of your mind. Think about it, pray about it, and we'll keep in touch with you. Maybe you'll be part of the next VIM team. Thanks.
Okay, we're going to go on as you're still enjoying the dinner and you're making those last bids in the silent auction. Okay, so here's another shot of the school. We got about 300 students at the school, which is a really healthy increase from last year. Last year there was 173. So we have 10 classes. We have 3 nursery level classes, and I was trying to remember what they're called. What is baby? One is middle, and one is top class. but they're all like really little children. Again, we have 10 classes, 3 nursery, and the 7 are P1 to P7. So I've been waiting for weeks to get updates on the school. As Becky said, school started on September 10th. So I'm going like, oh, I know the numbers from last year, but I just got to make up some numbers to tell you guys. But Silver finally contacted us. So I want to say there are now 30 total staff, which includes 18 teachers and 12 support staff. There's some kids there, little classroom. And then we have boarders at the school, because you know we have a boys' dormitory and a girls' dormitory. So about a third of the school population are boarders. So that's about 103 students. And the boarders are, you know, children who sleep at the school. About 30 of them are orphans. But most of them go home to guardians during the holidays. But those with no one at all, you know, it's just the heart of Silver and Rachel, so they take care of those kids. They'll just bring them into their home and take care of them. And now, for the most exciting part of the evening, folks. The most exciting part is personal stories. Personal stories. Okay, if you can switch to the next slide. Oh, don't we look beautiful? This is the 2018 VIM team. They are Dave Sundstrom, Cloud Chang, Cheryl Wilson, Becky Wong, Ari Lee, the short one, me, and Ben Wong. And the person that's photobombing, that's Pastor Lawrence. We know him, so it's okay. There we are. So if you notice, Ben and Ari couldn't be here with us tonight. They are actually in Spain, and they are doing the Camino de Santiago, which translates to the Way of St. James. It's Spain's famous pilgrimage walk, or pilgrimage trail. Ben said they're doing fine. They walk 6 hours a day, and they deal with sore feet, but they're doing it. Yeah. Okay, so while at KCDF, the team's plan was to help students with math and to help the teachers with math teaching skills. Okay, so Ari and I, we both knew that we were not the math people. So what we did, we went to classrooms and we told stories, read stories, and shared songs. And I must say that my favorite classroom was P1, the P1 classroom. These kids, they were so full of energy, and they were just so eager to hear and listen and see what we had to share with them. In this classroom, they didn't have any desks. Yes, not all the classrooms have desks, and this is one of them. So they had to sit on the floor. But they were so happy and excited when they came in because they didn't have to sit on the floor anymore. They could stand up and move around. So some of you might know some of the songs I'm going to talk about. So if you know them, you can go ahead and join in. The first one I want to share is Jesus Hokey Pokey. Okay, you guys all know the Hokey Pokey song. Okay, this one's just a little bit different. So if you want to join in, go ahead. Okay, it goes like this. You put your right hand in, you put your right hand out, you put your right hand in, and you shake it all about. You give your heart to Jesus and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. Very good. Okay, so you know, thank you. So you know, the song goes on and on with different body parts and all. Okay, so that gets pretty tiring when you got to move around and everything. So the next song, we sang it with our children in our homework club. And if you know it, go ahead. It goes like this. My God is so big, so strong, and so mighty, there's nothing my God cannot do. The mountains are His, the valleys are His. I'm off tune. The stars are His handiwork too. My God is so big, so strong, and so mighty, there's nothing my God cannot do for you, and you, and you. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not a math person, and I'm not a singer. Okay, so the children just loved all the singing and the motions. But there was one little girl that peed one class, and her name was Precious. And she was precious. During the morning break, I got a chance to walk around the school grounds and interact with the children. And Precious came up to me and she said, "My friend, my good friend." And she started touching my arm, and she started rubbing my arm, because my arm was so much different than her arm, you know. But then she said to me, "Sing, sing again, sing again." Okay, so I sang, then we sang, again, and again. I was exhausted. It was all good. It was a good exhaustion. So tonight, you all have a wonderful opportunity to hear from 3 of the VIM members who just went on the trip this past July. They will be sharing their personal stories and experiences as a VIM team member. Could be from the long plane ride, to being in Uganda for the first time, or to being with the students at KCVS. So as you hear their stories, I hope it will transport you from here to Uganda, like you were there with them. Okay. The first person I'd like to invite is my co-MC, Cloud Chang. Cloud is a member of CCUMC, as you all know. He attends Cal High in San Ramon and is a member of the marching band. At 16 years old, he was the youngest member of the team. Come on up, Cloud!
So I don't know about you guys, but I often, I do a little preparation the night before I go for big events. For this one, I was actually up trying on some of these clothes that I hadn't worn for a while. It's actually been a year since I tried on these pants. And after biking to school for about a year, I put them back on. They don't really fit anymore. And you know, this lovely dinner isn't really helping. So most of you can tell, I am a little bit young compared to the other VIM team members. They're all seasoned travelers, right? But I can really only remember one instance of actually being outside of just the state, let alone some 9,000 miles away in Uganda. You can imagine that my parents weren't exactly eager to send me to a country that's been ravaged by poverty and disease and the caricature of a red echidna. But that's a different story. Dozens and dozens of hours and tasks were completed in the preparation for this trip. And one of the personal preparations that I made were getting vaccinated. I remember the dimly lit, creepy halls of this underground Kaiser clinic and all these warnings about disease and mosquitoes and blah, blah, blah. I get it, right? So we're talking about the various animals that are also native to Uganda. And with native animals of any country that are wild, they could carry a virus, you know, rabies. Now, we all know what rabies looks like. It's that foaming of the mouth that occurs in mammals, such as dogs and livestock. And, you know, I was going to Uganda to teach children about drumming, not for a petting zoo, so, you know, I figured I'd be okay. I think you can tell where I'm going with this story. Now, after arriving at the Reformed Theological College, which is where we stayed for the first few days, I was bringing my bags to my host's house, which happens to be behind the confines of a large, locked metal gate. I open the gate, I walk in, and these 2 large German shepherds come running at me. They start rubbing against my leg, they're licking my hand. They're very cute, of course, I decided to pet one of them. And it decided to rub its snout against my hand. And I pulled back because it was so gross and wet. And when I looked at my hand, there was this white substance along the top, just over the knuckles. I was standing there thinking, I seem to recall the doctor telling me something about rabies, was it? Oh, yeah, that's not good. So I ran over to Ari, and I was frantically telling her, there's this dog, it was a German Shepherd, it was so big, it ran at me, it licked me, there's this white foam on my hand. What? She calmed me down, and she told me that what was on my hand is actually something they called posho. Posho is made out of corn, and it's what they feed the dogs there. So, the school that we, as in all of us here, have helped to build and maintain, it holds a significant place in my heart and in my mind. I'm sure that everyone who has been a part of this ministry could say just the same thing. Now, the other members of this group have a background in teaching and in higher education. Now, me, I was a high school student. It was my summer break, and if you hand me a math problem, I hand it back. So I opted into teaching music instead, right? Now, I believe that book smarts are very important. I'm studious myself, but I also believe that it's important to have a hobby or have a passion, right? So the drums, which is what I play, I believe are a beautiful instrument. They're a great way to express emotion, especially ones like happiness or anger. Sometimes drums work magic at relieving stress when you're just so frustrated and you feel like bashing something. Do it on the drums. If you're an angry person, you can master the instrument in a couple days. Now, the students at KCVS aren't as privileged as the students at the schools in America are, but I would say there's something that each and every single student at KCVS has that you just can't teach at a school here in the U.S. Allow me to explain. From the moment I stepped past the fence into the school grounds, you could feel the atmosphere shift. You would stiffen. Your eyes, they dart around. They look for anything that's unfamiliar, anything that's hostile. You're in a new environment. The hairs on the back of your neck, they stand up. You wonder why your heart feels so heavy and why your blood starts pumping. You take another step into the red dirt. But then around the corner of that building just up ahead, someone peeks their eyes out around the corner. And then those curious eyes, they widen as they realize that they see someone without the smooth, dark chocolate complexion. And that is you. And then those curious eyes, you find them in front of you. They're standing in front of you, and you look into them, and then the widest grin you've ever seen begins to form, and it shines like the morning star. And your once racing heart is now just an echo among the birds. The hairs on the back of your neck, they humble themselves, and they bow down before this child in front of you, this child of God, in her immaculate school uniform. Every muscle in your body breaks tension, and you feel the heaviness of the atmosphere disappear, as if God came down personally to lift the sky off your shoulders. And that's when you realize you are standing on holy ground. Hello, she says, and I'm awestruck. In this land where there's not a single washing machine in sight, where vehicles spit smoke, and with every step your shoes get caked with mud, a child of God stands, a child of God, with a flawless uniform and a twinkle in her eye that says louder than anything, she is so grateful to be here. And she's so grateful for everything that she has. In that moment, I just feel like my knees would buckle, and that I should confess every time I've lied or cheated or I've been ungrateful, because how could I stand before this child who is so little, who is so happy and so faithful to God, and not be overwhelmed by the realization that I have been blessed with everything that I have so much, and I take almost everything and everyone for granted. Again, I was graced with the opportunity to share a skill and a passion of mine with the children at KCVS, and that was the percussive arts. Something that stuck with me was the happiness a few moments of beating on the drums would just give the kids. Every smile and all the eyes that lit up, it stuck with me. And whenever I handed a kid a pair of drumsticks, they would get super excited, and I would be excited too. However, after the lesson ended with the kids, I taught them drums, all their smiles would disappear. Now, no, I would say it's probably not that I'm a bad teacher. I'd like to think that, but it's that every kid that had just been taught the drums was so focused, so intent at practicing what I just taught them, that they were not even thinking to smile or talk. They were just there staring at the ground because they didn't have anything to play on. It just goes to show how incredible and how much potential that each and every kid has. It has truly been a life-changing experience to meet the children whose love and inspiration are as ubiquitous as God's presence in Kumi, Uganda. Thank you.
Let's just take a moment and just soak that in. Oh, my goodness. Whew. Well, okay. Let me get it together. Okay. The next team member to share is Cheryl Wilson. I know it's hard to see in the back, but Cheryl and I aren't on the bottom here. Cheryl and I have a very special relationship. When I worked as an elementary school secretary, she was the principal. Actually, she was the third principal I worked with. My second one sitting at my table. So Cheryl is my boss. So working together, she heard all my stories of Uganda and my trips to Kumi. Cheryl has been coming to the benefit dinner for several years. And something moved her to go this year. Let's hear what that was. Cheryl.
Tell Michael when to change his slides, I will. Thank you. So I want to just start by saying good evening and thanking all of you for being here. And also my boss and Becky, who encouraged me to go over the past, I guess it's been 3 or 4 years. I want to thank you because I recognize that the United Methodist Churches and you have not embraced this feeling of separatism, this feeling of us and them. I recognize that you still have compassion for them, for people who sleep in tents, compassion for them, for people who have less than you, for people who don't look like you, for passion for them who don't speak the same language as you, for passion for people who are refugees, passion for people who are immigrants. And what's so strange for in our country not to have passion for people who are immigrants when we know that the people who were born here, we treat them like them. So I want to thank you, and especially what I call the little Chinese church in Chinatown, for recognizing that the children in Uganda, they don't look like the people in Chinatown. The children, the people in Uganda, they don't speak the same language as you, they don't look like you, they are far, far away, but it is because you see them as you see yourself, as children of God. And that's what I will always take with me. That you see them not for what they don't have, but for what you understand in your spirit and what you preach every Sunday in the little church in Chinatown. And so I want to thank you, especially my boss and Becky, for allowing me to be a part of that, and to thank you for supporting the children of Uganda. What you're going to see is, one second. What you're going to see, and what I want you to think about is, what do these children feel, what do they value? Why do they get up in the morning? I want you to think about, what do you value and what makes you get up in the morning? When these children get up, some of them, they get up at maybe 4:30 in the morning or 5 o'clock because they have to get ready for the bus that's coming from the school that's going to pick them up. And when they get up in the morning, they don't turn on the light because there's no electricity. They don't go down for breakfast because there's nothing to eat. They don't put on shoes because maybe they don't have shoes. And most important, they don't necessarily go and kiss somebody goodbye because some of them are orphans. But When you see what we call the babies in this video, you will know they've got something that they'll share with you, and a meaning of life that I hope that you say to yourself, what can I do with my one best life? Maybe it is that I will always love somebody forever. So let's take a look at the babies. It's a video. They had just had breakfast, which when they first get up in the morning, they get to school and they go to class and they have breakfast not until 10. It's a video and they're really lively and they're happy. And they're saying hello, which you've seen on some of the tents. Say yoga. Yoga. That's not it. But it's okay. Because when we first got there, is there volume? No?
Can you give another serious clap? That confirms that you, when we say God is good, and all the time, hallelujah. So you're most welcome. We shall be with you. We welcome you. We shall land.
Those were the over, Boshi said 300, but those were over the 400 children who greeted us that morning when we arrived. And if you can imagine, we went into one of the classrooms, and just like you're sitting there looking at me, there must have been at least 35 to 40 children crowded in a small space. And they're just sitting, and we said, where's the teacher? Where's the teacher? She had to go to an appointment. And so they're just sitting there patiently, just like our students do in America. And they're just waiting for the teacher. And so what you'll see in this photo, and I think there's another one. Yeah. Becky had the great idea to bring over playing cards. And we use them to teach multiplication. And if you can imagine, we took out that big bag of playing cards, you would have thought that we had taken out a big bag of iPhones. They were so happy to get them in their hands. And as you can see, it's just like, wow. So your money, the donations, it goes for playing cards, pencils. They don't have school supplies. You can imagine way in the corner there were these boys, they must have been 3 or 4 years old. And now they don't have toys, but they had made a structure. Something as if you could, like a building where you could roll a truck down, and they had these pieces of wood. And I'm just saying that to say that when Cloud talked about talent, these students are making something out of nothing. So as you look here again, you think about what are you going to do with your one best life? You're going to love these children, you're going to love yourself, and you're going to say there is no difference between us and them. Did I miss a video of the babies by chance? They need to see the babies. That's not. He doesn't want to play? It's okay. It's okay. Just know that, like I said, they make something out of nothing. Say hello. Yuba. Yoga. Say something. Say hi. That's the end of that. Go home, like I said. With your one best life, make sure that you always love somebody forever. And thank you so much for donating to this unbelievable cause of giving to others, giving to of yourself, and giving to God.
Okay, before I invite the next person up, you all remember this? This was your number card on your table, and have you all written a message or a note or a blessing or something? Because we're going to be collecting them soon, okay? So don't forget. And you can't say, well, I don't have anything to write with. No, you have a pen. Everybody has a pen. Okay. Our third team member to share this evening is Dave Sundstrom, but we all know him as Sonny. He even has a restaurant in Uganda. No. So Sonny was a good match for us because we already have Cloud. Sonny, like Cheryl, has been attending the benefit dinner for several years after being invited by Bert and Jane Yen. They became friends as Red Cross volunteers. While in Uganda, Ben Wong met his match in Sonny as they traded thoughts about IT. Yes, they were the tech geeks. Here you go, Sonny.
We were the geeks.
She writes better than I do.
Geeks, whatever. Grandpa, you ready? All right, here you go.
I don't have any videos, so this will be easier. How many of you are members of CCUMC? Please? Okay, yay, CCUMC. So I also want to start with a couple of thank yous. And thank you for the introduction, Donna. I might be a little, I don't know if I'm unusual, I don't know if I'm unique in those. She says I'm always unusual. I don't know if I'm unique of those that have been to Kumi with CCUMC, but I am not a member of the church. My wife Ryoko and I, as Donna said, have been contributors, thanks to Bert and Jane, who very mildly kind of encouraged us to donate from the very first dinner. And when we lived here in Alameda, we used to come to the dinners. We live in Reno now. So thank you for engaging us. But thank all of you at CCUMC. I really appreciate that you trusted me and invited me to go and trusted me to represent you with the teachers and the students at Kumi, because I really am representing you there. So thank you very much for the opportunity and for trusting me, even though I'm not a member of the congregation. I also want to thank, even though she said I'm always unusual, I want to thank our den mothers, Becky and Donna. Ben and Ari provided, of course, a tremendous amount of support, as did Silver and his wife while we were in Kumi. Cloud spoke about what it's like to enter a very unusual place. And my wife and I have traveled extensively in third world countries, but I think it's still that way. Every time you go to a new place, you have that experience. And I think I echo what Cloud said. You walk into the schoolyard and it's a different place. The students are there, the teachers are there. It's a different language, it's a different culture. So having den mothers with you that are constantly asking you how you are and making sure that you're acclimatizing all right is very, very nice. Makes the trip much easier. So Becky and Donna, thank you very much. I think you helped us all greatly. So I want to go on. Donna asked me if I would share from my experience, and my experience is a little bit different in a couple of ways. It started actually a very long time ago. I've been to Africa before. I've been to East Africa before, about 25 years ago. And so I would say that's when it actually started. So let me go. And Donna did say, you know that you sent me a picture of a comic strip.
So, yes, I actually do know that, because there's a message in here, and there's a couple of messages that I would like to leave you with that I'll come back to through the presentation. And one, I think Cloud also mentioned, is how lucky we are, how incredibly blessed we are. If you are here, and I always have this difficulty when I go to a third world country, is that people, I think, in those countries look at you as you are special, you are rich, you are different than they are. And I don't think, my wife and I don't think of ourselves as rich, but if you're in rural Uganda from America, then you are richer probably than most of the people that you will ever meet. So we are very lucky, we are very blessed. And if, I don't know if you can see this, if you can't see it, I'll just summarize it. It should be a little yellow, because this is a comic strip that's about 30 years old. I think I kept it. I usually have it in a frame mounted on a wall to remind myself. And it's a mother and her daughter going to a supermarket in the United States, obviously, some developed country, and she's commenting about all the things in the supermarket. Oh, the meat doesn't look so good today. Oh, they don't have any peaches. Oh, they're out of fresh milk. And they go to the very last box down here. And let's see, she says, "This is such a nuisance today. Look at the lineups. I have so little time." And then she says to her daughter, "Why are you so quiet?" And her daughter says, "Some people have never seen this much food in their whole lives, have they, Mom? I was thinking how lucky we are." So I've kept this comic strip, and this is rural Africa. I think every day, all of us on the team realize how lucky we are, and the little things that we can do, that you do, through supporting the school, and that we can do while we're there, that makes such a huge difference to them. So let me show you a couple of things that kind of brought this home to me, my journey in Africa. I stayed in Africa for 2 more weeks, and I went to Kenya. And I don't know if you can see any of this. I was lucky enough to go to probably some of the most desolate places I've ever been. This is a picture of Lake Turkana, which runs about 200 miles between northern Kenya and the Ethiopian-Somali border. It's the largest desert lake in the world. And if you look at the picture, you'll see that there's very little on the picture except rocks and water. It's a desert lake surrounded by volcanic scree. But if you could see this picture, and I know you can't see it, and you could look right up here, you'll see that there's 2 boats in this picture. Like, what are these boats doing there? This lake is really in the middle of nowhere. One more, Michael. There are people that live on the lake. They live there permanently. They're not refugees. This is where they live. This is their permanent settlement. They build houses, really huts, out of woven wood, covered with paper, burlap, leather, plastic, anything that they can cover them with to keep the elements out. How lucky we are. This is where they choose to live. This is where they permanently live. They stay there. They raise goats and they catch fish out of the lake. So now let's go back to Uganda. This is actually very close to Kumi School. Every day we walked. I think we walked about 3/4 of a mile. Den mothers, how far did we walk? About 3/4 of a mile from where we were staying to Kumi School to begin our work at this school. Every day we passed through and by these small houses, these huts, these thatched huts that people still live in. This is really just about a 1/4 mile from Kumi School, and they're drying maize. I don't know what else they're drying there, but they're drying 2 crops. So these people are obviously a little bit better off than the people in northern Kenya, but this is how a portion of the residents of the town of Kumi live. This is their residence. This is what they do. They raise crops, subsistence farmers, dry their own crops. So we saw this every day. Very nice people that we walked by on the way to school. thanks to all of us, these children are a little bit luckier. These are children of Kumi School, and this is one of the things I think that touched me the most when I was at the school, and I think Cheryl mentioned this. I actually don't understand growing up in America how this works, but most of these children do not have breakfast. They start to attend classes at 7 o'clock in the morning, and at about 10 o'clock in the morning, there is a break. And during the break, they get porridge. These are the children in the porridge line, waiting to get their breakfast. They haven't eaten. They've been in classes for 2.5 hours, and they're getting their breakfast. And I will tell you, let's see, did everybody on the team have the porridge? It's horrible. It's horrible. It's porridge. It's called posho. It's made out of ground maize and water, and I don't think anything else. It doesn't taste like anything, but it fills up their stomachs. They line up. When it's time to serve the porridge, they line up like this and wait for the porridge to be served. They're a little bit luckier than the other folks that you may have seen, and this is part of what you provide in providing breakfast for them each day at the school. I think you've seen pictures, so I won't dwell on these, but this is luckier children because of what you all do. You've seen the pictures of the school building. You've seen, I think, most of the video of the smiling faces and the happy children that are happy to be there and really getting a wonderful education in this very rural town in eastern Uganda. And here's Mr. Okello, very nice head teacher. Again, something else that you also provide, a very capable head teacher who's helping to organize the instruction there and work with us extensively to help us try to impart what we know about instruction in America and how that works. And you can see the interested and smiling faces. Again, luckier, more blessed children, I think, because of what you all do to help support them. But there's still a lot more to do. I think you saw some pictures of this. This was the boys' dormitory that was going up while we were there. You heard that there's potential plans to build a nursery. We raise enough money to do that. So making them, sharing our blessings, a bit more blessed, a bit luckier. And here's, if you're lucky enough, you get to be this young man in the front. This is the head of the porridge line. This is the same porridge line you saw before. They're all standing with their cups, waiting for the porridge to be served. So I want to finish here and go back. This is my journey. This is my journey from 30 years ago in Africa. And this is, I think, what I remembered in Africa when I was there before 30 years ago. How lucky we are. We in this room saw more food. The dinner was wonderful, by the way. Thank you all. We saw more food, as the comic strip says, than most of those children may see in their lives. And so how lucky we are, and how lucky we are to have the opportunity with how much we can do for them. Just the contributions that you make and that you can make to continue to improve their lives. And I hope you'll consider doing that tonight. And thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Good luck. We're not done yet. We're not done yet. So right now I want to invite Pastor Mayna to come on up.
Yoga! By now you know what yoga means, right? What it means? Hello friends. This evening, my name is Mainako. I'm the lead pastor of CCUMC, and welcome and thank you for being here. This evening, our choir would like to share with you a song
a song called Give Us Hope. The song was sung by the San Francisco Boys and Girls Chorus for President Obama's inauguration ceremony in 2008. I know it is a cliche to say that children are the future, but truly they are. Truly they are. And if we want to give them the hope and help them to achieve a hopeful future, then we must come alongside them and do what we can to support them. So today, we share the song with you on behalf of the children of KCVS in Kumi, Uganda. I'd like to invite our CM choir to come up. So you can find the lyrics on the yellow sheet that is inserted into your program that you can sing along with us.
What, did you buy it?
I wonder. No, the homework and necessarily see.
Listen to the sound of my voice. Can you feel the beats of my heart? Listen to the questions I have. Listen to me. It's so very simple to see what we need. Give us hope. My voice is calling. Can you see? Look in my eyes. Can you feel? My hand is reaching. Give us hope, and we'll show you the way. Listen to the sound of my voice calling. Can you feel the beat of my heart pounding? Listen to the questions I have. Listen to me. We are the future. Have us believe. Give us hope. My voice is calling. Can you see? Look in my eyes. Can you feel? My hand is reaching. Give us hope, and we'll show you the way.
Better to me.
Take my hand. Now look in my eyes. Tell me what you see. What you see. Give us hope. My voice is calling. Can you see? Look in my eyes. Can you feel? My hand is reaching. Give us hope, and we'll show you the way. Give us hope. My voice is calling. Can you see? Look in my eyes. Can you feel? My hand is reaching. Give us hope, and we'll show you the way. Can you sing with us? Give us hope. My voice is calling. Can you see? Look in my eyes. Can you feel? My hand is reaching.
will show you